everyone, so I have another unsettling and heartbreaking case for you today. Today we're going to be talking about the case of Christina Yuna Lee. This case happened last year, just about a month or so after the death of Michelle Go. I didn't know that when I originally looked into it, but I was absolutely startled by that. And her case it's going to upset you. Especially with what the officers did. So just a fair warning there. But all the links I use for research will be down below, and let's go ahead and get into this video. So, on 4:21 a.m. on February 13th, 2022, Christina was followed by a man who forced entry into her apartment. At least one neighbor would call the police a few moments later because they would hear her screams. Two NYPD officers arrived at her door around 4:25 a.m. because they were literally just right outside the apartment, like the apartment building, and they heard her yelling for help. Her screams would abruptly stop, and the officers would speak with her killer through a closed door. Other officers would not arrive on the scene until about an hour later, despite the police precinct being only 3 blocks away. At 5:40 a.m., members of the NYPD Emergency Services Unit forced entry into her apartment. So, over an hour later, someone actually bothers to go into her apartment to help her, after she's already dead, after the screams have stopped, after she has stopped screaming for help. They talk to her killer through the door and don't go in. She was found dead in her bathtub with more than 40 stab wounds. So the killer, I'm sorry if I pronounced the name wrong, Samad Nash, I'm not sure, I'll just call him Nash for now, who actually had a lot of criminal history, including robbery and petty larceny, was found hiding under her mattress. It is also noted that he stalked her up 6 flights of stairs, and they actually caught this on surveillance of him following her. So, regardless of him being caught on surveillance, he actually believes that he's going to get off scot-free. And we're going to get into what he has to say about this later. So, on surveillance, he is seen following her and pushing his way into the apartment, but he says he doesn't think that's going to be enough to put him away. He actually did an interview from Rikers Island, which is where he's being held, and here are some of his statements. So he says, quote, "First of all, they gotta have me on camera killing her, and I'm not on camera touching her at all. They only got me on camera going into the building, that's it. They ain't got no camera showing me killing that lady," end quote. He also said he was trying to get into a mental health program at the hospital so he could beat the serious charges against him, not because he wants help, just so he doesn't have to go to prison. Lovely human being, just fucking lovely. So he also originally claimed that another man had burst into her apartment and committed the crime, and he also claimed she invited him over for a party and for drinks, and when asked about leading up to the murder, he says that he was too high to recall, and that he was under the influence of, quote, dust and K2, end quote. So he's just telling all sorts of stories. First, I had nothing to do with it, I was just in the building, I didn't do nothing to her, someone else committed the crime, and now, I was too high to recall what happened, but she invited me over for drinks and a party, but I know for a fact I didn't kill her. I was just too high to know, but I know. You know, that's his wonderful logic. So, here's another little disgusting tidbit from him. He says that situation happened, then she died, and they told me I did that and all that crazy stuff, end quote. And he yawned and laughed during his interview. He's being interviewed about a woman he murdered, and he's yawning and laughing as if he couldn't be bothered to be here. As if she's not even worth his time. Apparently she wasn't, because he killed her. But you know what I'm saying? Like, he can't even pretend to be sad. He's an awful human being. So he was charged in the Supreme Court and was indicted for murder, burglary, and burglary as a sexually motivated felony because she was also sexually assaulted. So he actually has 5 prior felonies and 3 pending court cases on various matters. So he's already got a bunch of other crap against him, and now he's also got murder stacked. So, wonderful. So this is a quote from the DA, Alvin Bragg, and he says, "Today's indictment marks the beginning of our pursuit of justice in the name of Christina Yuna Lee, a bright and beloved New Yorker who should not have had her life cut short in such a violent, shocking manner in her own home. Miss Yuna Lee's death not only devastated her loved ones, but struck fear into the hearts of our AAPI neighbors who have already suffered for far too much pain in recent years." End quote. And here's a quote from Mayor Eric Adams. You remember him from the Michelle Go video. He made some very tone-deaf comments about Michelle's death, finally admitting he didn't feel safe in the subway system, basically just not a good mayor. And he says, "I want members of our AAPI community and all New Yorkers to know that we are working around the clock to put an end to this violence and ensure people in every neighborhood can feel safe in our city." End quote. And I'm pretty sure the only reason why he even made this comment is because he was being absolutely dragged for his response to Michelle Go's death, and he just didn't want to go through that again. I doubt that he actually cares about Christina because he also didn't care about Michelle. So, in a way, his comment is still tone deaf because it has no meaning to it. I don't have this in my notes, but I remember seeing a thing where Christina Yuna's family is actually suing the police department because they didn't do anything. Because at 4:21 a.m. is when it starts. 4:25 a.m. they're outside her door. A few minutes later, the screaming stops. They stay out there while she's screaming for help. They are police officers. They have weapons. They have ways of breaking into doors, of breaking into homes to help. That is their job, and they didn't do it while she was screaming for help, while she was being stabbed 40 times, while she was being sexually assaulted. They stood outside her door and talked to her killer. And then they waited over an hour for the emergency people to come, and they broke in the door to help her, and by then it was too late, because the cops on this case were fucking cowards. She was lifeless in her bathtub after being stabbed 40 times and sexually assaulted by this horrific human being, and they allowed him to stay in there hiding with her body because they didn't want to break open the door, because they did absolutely nothing. They did not do anything to help her whatsoever. Can you imagine how terrified she was in those moments? Can you imagine knowing that the police are outside your door and they aren't coming in to help you? I don't know how those officers sleep at night. I don't know how they could know that they willingly stood outside that door and just did nothing. And I don't want to hear police supporters, maybe it was protocol. Their protocol is to stand outside a door when someone's being murdered and not do anything? That's kind of fucking weird. I am disgusted with them, and I'm also disgusted with Nash. To yawn and laugh about the person you murdered. Making up all these stories. I knew her. She wanted me there. She did not want you there. You forced your way into her apartment. I'm sorry. I'm getting so worked up. I am just so upset about this. So her family is suing the police department for, not doing anything, and I hope they win. I hope they win big. It won't be enough to bring their daughter back, obviously, or their loved one back. But I want them to just absolutely go after the police department for what they did. Those police officers should be let go. They should not be allowed to stay on the force because they actively did not do their duty. And I hope that serious charges are brought against Dash, and I hope he stays in prison for the rest of his life because he also seems like a danger to society. He has so many other felonies, and now he just murdered this person. He stalked her. He assaulted her. He stabbed her 40 times. Do you know how much strength you have to stab somebody that many times and that fast? I don't doubt he was probably on something, but still, he seems like a very dangerous person, and he should not be let out. And so I hope he gets the max penalty possible. I hope the family wins big in court. And if you guys see this video, I just want you to know that my heart goes out to you, because Christina seemed like such a lovely human, and she deserved so much better than that. She deserves to still be here, and it's gross that she's not. So that is Christina's case. Please don't leave any hateful comments down below. I know that I normally don't get any, but I also know that a lot of family members will find these videos and go to the comments, and I don't want them to be met with disgusting comments. There's always those people out there that want to do something like that, leave hateful comments for no reason. So unless you have something kind to say about Christina, please don't say anything at all. And if you guys want to do your own research, the links that I used personally will be down below. And like I said, my heart goes out to her family. I am so sad. She seems so warm. She seems so happy, and I can't imagine how terrified she had to be in her final moments. That's going to be it for me today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know that's a weird thing to say. I hope you got something out of it, and I will see you guys very soon. Bye, guys.